Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
We are live. Hello, Dan.
Live. Hello, Damo for show.
Dan, I need to start the show off. I need to just tell everybody that is the best bit of our podcast by far. When the intro is running and when the music is happening and when we've got your dulcet tones saying it's one other than none other, them tunes come on and we're just in the background like, what? It's a tune, isn't it? It's grabby. It's grabby. Right.
It is nice.
Dan,
it is nice. It took me ages to find that.
I've figured out, right, a bit of research in that. You have to be really grabby and say something really cool straight away to get people in and keep them in for a little bit. So just really quickly say like something really cool that's going to keep people in. Go.
So basically, you need to stay tuned into this podcast because it's absolutely awesome. And you might learn something from us just because we're really wicked and we know what we're doing. And that.
I was thinking more like 5 buzzwords like beards, boobs.
Right. Cool. Yeah. Rune silk, beards, hats, caps.
Snapbacks.
Are you okay, mate? T-shirts.
BeardMail. Right, Dan.
Just going to bring this up.
This is our.
I've got comments already.
4th podcast. I'm gonna bring them in. I'm gonna read them up, right? Because I've sorted it all out. We'll do some hellos and that, but I just want to let people know this is our 4th podcast, and this is the first time of doing it live because we wanted to share the love. We're all about sharing the BeardMail love. So, quickly, let's have a big shout out for Ollie Moore, who says he's only here for Damo for show. Nice.
Of course,
that's not true. You'll see that back in a minute. But we have to remember, Dan, that this
I can't see any comments in a minute.
It's going to get downloaded and it's going to get put onto Spotify and Google Podcasts and on YouTube as well. So we have to remember that not everybody can see us. Although everybody watching right now can definitely see us, those people watching it back later won't be able to see me doing that. So they won't know what I'm doing. And so we have to make sure if we are doing anything visual that we tell people. Right. I'll tell you what, Dan, go for it, mate. Well, can you see comments? Can you say hello to people?
I'm just bringing it up now. It's telling me to open up in the Facebook application. Although
no, skip that. Scroll down to the next one.
Right, sweet. So seamless, absolutely seamless.
You do the
I can see some comments.
I'll go.
Yes, Paolo Luciali's in. Ollie Moore's in. He's only here for Dan. He's only really here for Paxo. We know that, right? He's only here for the Sage and Onion. Paxo for show. John McCourt is in the house.
John McCourt.
So I'm just going to position that over there so I can keep an eye on it, and hopefully we can keep an eye on chat as we go along. This is exciting. I'm a little bit nervous now. It's different when we sat here recording it and we can edit it all out and stuff. And now we are live for show.
Dan, we are so pro, mate. We are so pro. We don't do any editing. I've got a few more people that are in here. So I want to give a shout out to Scott Chadwick and hello, John Paul Walker. And you did mention Paolo Luciello for show. So yeah, good. Boom. We're here, Dan. It's the 4th podcast and we've got stuff to talk about, right? But if you are watching live right now, please drop anything in the comments you want us to talk about. It might be a question you got for us. It might be a topic. It might be a suggestion. It could be whatever. But if you just want to shout out, just say a little shout out. We'll make sure we get you a shout out because ultimately we had Sam Walsh, Scott Chadwick and Gaz Allsop already asked us a couple of questions already this week in the group. So we'll try and get through them as well. But ultimately, it's got like what we're going to do. Normally 30, 40 minutes. It might go on a little bit longer. But it's me and Dan chatting about beards and stuff. Have you got a drink, Dan?
I've just got I've got my fizzy bubbles. I've got the just a little
champagne,
sparkling water, just because that's how I roll deep with my sparkling water. Bubbles. Nice. Interesting enough, Paolo Luciali for show has dropped in topic street art, which could be an interesting one we can try and add. I'm just going to adjust my microphone so that when I talk into it because that's how we roll.
Street food would have been a good one because I'm all about street food. As for street art, that's what we're talking about. Banksy and that. Is that street art? Educate me, Dan.
Just graffiti in general, I guess. I mean, straight off the bat, when it comes to street art, one of my favourite places to visit in London is Brick Lane, which is just full of awesome street art. It's just a street full of crazy graffiti, and I do really enjoy street art. I do love it. Gareth Allsop's in the house. He's watching on Facebook. and I think he's got a pint on the go. He's got a beer and a cheers and a one of those emojis. So I'm assuming he's either joining us for a beer or he's saying cheers. But
this is good vibes, mate. Good vibes. Norm Clement has just joined in. Hello, Norm. John Paul Walker says, looking forward to my mystery beard mail from Damo. Yes. So you might have seen this, you might not, Dan, but I've sent out some mystery beard mail this week through the old DBFC. But I've sent a couple of suspicious looking packages. One of them actually did look like a suspicious package. I felt a bit naughty going to it could have been a knife. It wasn't, but it was heavy and it was long and it's thin, and it could have been, but it wasn't. So yes, it is a secret. Tell us more about Brick Lane, because I've never been there. And John McCourt says bagel bake is incredible.
So I forget which one's which, actually, John. There's two. There's two sort of bagel. There's Bagel Bakes and Bagel Place, I think. There's two bagel shops that are open 24 hours, famous for Brick Lane. You can go and get a salt beef bagel, BAIGLE or GEL, I forget. So they spell it slightly different than the typical BAGEL. But everyone's got a favorite. There's the one's white and one's yellowy orange, and I forget which one. I always go in if you're going towards I forget what the Bethnal Green end. It's the furthest one, or what closest one to Bethnal Green end. Does the most amazing salt beef bagel. I've posted it on my Instas previously. It's ridiculous. And yeah, 24-hour bagel. It's literally they're just churning them out. It's ridiculous, like a complete conveyor belt of just bagels. Like it's insane. Really nice place. Home of a place called Kill the Cat, one of my favorite places to go and drink craft beer for show. East London. So I got to know Brick Lane quite well because that's where we used to do the markets. I love it. It's one of my favorite places. Walking up left-hand side. Yeah, it is on the left-hand side. But John, is it the first one you stop in or the second one? I always go in the second one. If you're on your left-hand side, I always go in on the second bagel for show. Yeah, nice.
Shall I tell everyone what I've learned about you now? Shall I tell you everyone what I've just learned about you, Dan?
That I like food.
The question was street art. Someone mentions Brick Lane and you just start talking about bagels, food, and beer. Nice one, Dan. Nice one. Forget the art. We're eating and we're drinking.
But honestly, it's the best place. So we took my daughter there. She loves the art, and we took her to the National Gallery. And I said, well, let's take her to the complete flip side. So we saw the National Gallery and then went to Brick Lane to see the street art. And there was a guy there playing chess. They had a table with 4 chessboards that said "Play chess for free for fun" or something like that, and he's playing speed chess. It's only Brick Lane, honestly. It's nuts place. Second one, salt beef and mustard. John's in. John McCourt knows which one he's going in. Yes, John, that's the one. The second one is the one. Good lad. We can stay friends.
Well, I must say that street art is completely new to me. I don't get out much. I don't go to these exotic places. Paolo says that the street art scene in Ireland is growing a lot. You should look for a street artist called Aches, a fantastic and mesmerizing piece he made in Cork, a hurling player with a glitch effect.
Oh, that's pretty cool. There's a lot more commissioned street art now, which is quite nice. So rather than just people throwing up tags and stuff like that, and sort of just pieces with words, we're seeing a lot more actually commissioned art pieces. Paolo, I'll have a look for a guy called Jim Vision. He does some insane pieces. I met him at a graffiti art auction in London, and yeah, Jim Vision, really nice guy. Artwork is fantastic. So we covered street art and bagels and craft beer.
Nice. Well, the point of this podcast, actually, because I mean, there are literally thousands of podcasts around, and obviously Joe Rogan has been knocking on the door saying, "Can I come on your show, guys?" But we're a bit busy at the minute. Our goal for this podcast really was just to set out 6 episodes, and just really to relate to the people that are in our world, our community. And we thought, look, if we talk about stuff we know about, talk about stuff that's age appropriate for us, experiences we've had, things we've done, and then see, what the feedback is like. So we've talked about films, and we've now discovered that people like street art and talking about street art, which is way over my head. But we are also testing the concept of doing a live one. And also, obviously, Joe Rogan mentioned, we might get some guests on as well to do stuff as we keep rolling these out. So, I mean, predominantly today, it's a little bit loose. There's no massive structure to today's show, other than we want it to be interactive. So people bring us topics and we will chat about them. For example, we've just had 10 minutes of street art. And as I say, we do have a couple of bits and bobs to cover. I mean, someone said talk about Brexit. That just ain't going to happen, because it's just let's not talk about that one. Let's talk about some other bits. So, who was it? This one grabbed me. Who was it that said? Oh, what was that? Oh, something going on there.
Some noise in some people leaving in the office. Sorry about that,
guys. Right, mate. We'll edit
infamous
that out.
on my podcast now.
Yeah, we'll edit that out. That's fine. What was one of the questions about? There was something about white dog poo that threw me, but still quite interesting. Shall we cover that quickly?
Yeah, that's something I haven't seen for a while, actually. But is that because most people pick it up now or tread in it? I don't know.
I've never seen one. Did they used to? Was that a thing? Like, so who was it? Was it Scott or Sam that said this one?
I think it was Scott that suggested this
Scott.
one.
So
white dog poo was calcified dog poo, right? It was just poo that was left on the street for ages and it just went white.
I tell you what, Dan, that is the shit. Also, probably could be street art now. If there's any there, could be actual street art. But Scott, look, that's how brave we are on this show. If you jovially put in there, talk about poo, we've done it, mate. We've done it. We talked about poo. But yeah, hopefully people pick up their poo nowadays. Otherwise, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, that's that one boxed off. What else we got? What else we got?
We had where do we see ourselves in 5 years' time from Gareth Alsop.
I'll let you go first. Gaz has said actually he's got some rune silk in, especially for tonight's show. So well done, Gaz. Dan, you should probably go first. You should go first with this question because mine's a very short answer.
Where do I see myself in 5 years' time? I see myself celebrating a 43rd birthday.
Wow. You're a young'un, isn't you? You're a young'un.
Apart from that, to be honest, I don't know, man. Like 5 years' time, like it's one of those questions, isn't it? You get asked in an interview, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? I was like, I don't even know where I see myself next Wednesday, let alone 5 years' time. I think it depends. You know, I'd like to have maybe in a position where I can put my feet up a little bit more, maybe work a little bit less. I mean, my son will be 10, so maybe he can start making the beard butters and stuff for me. Who knows, right? Exactly, you know, child labor and that. I mean, is that legal nowadays? I don't know anymore.
No, if you have your own kids working for you, it's a little bit of a tax write-off. That's an actual thing. I read it somewhere. But I might have to get some kids just for that.
Sweet, I can lend you mine. It's fine. Just adopt them for a minute.
Well, I'm so pleased. I expected you, Dan, to have a solid 5-year plan and go through it like in explicit detail, because my answer was going to be, I don't know what I'm doing next Wednesday, let alone 5 years' time. and it turned out that
we're so alike, Damo.
What remind me, have you ever seen that episode of Family Guy when he asks that question? Well, I think Peter Griffin goes for a job interview. Have you seen it when he says about where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? It's cutting edge Family Guy risque. So the boss is behind the desk. He's got a picture of his family, like on the beach on a holiday or something. It's his wife and his kids and that, and himself. And he says to Peter, he says, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?" And Peter looks at the picture and he's like, "Don't say doing your wife. Don't say doing your wife. Don't say doing your wife. Don't say doing your wife." And then he says out loud, "Doing your son."
Oh. To be honest, you know what? I've not watched masses of Family Guy.
I love Family Guy.
I've seen a few episodes. I did watch a complete 10-minute long of Consuela, just because of the
Lemon Pledge.
No, Mr. Superman, he's here. I have no money.
You do have a range of phenomenal accents, Dan, that I was hoping to keep buried until a bit later on in podcast episodes when we're dying a death and need a bit of a revive. But mate, you do have some beautiful. That's another one. That's another one to put in the pot. Consuela. Got any other ones right now? Do another right now? We've had a good.
Maybe we'll just leave that.
we've had a bloody good question come in, and it's from
Oh.
Ollie Moore, the Wild Hair Massive. Ollie Moore says, "Why is there a beard community, and what makes it so attractive?" That's like two questions in one, but I'm happy to give that a little bash of a go. Should we answer that, Dan?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think
I think
you
there is
go.
a beard community because human beings, we're going to get deep now. This is going to get, it's less entertaining and more scientifically accurate. Human beings want to belong. We are a social people. We just want to belong. And whether it be, attached to a religious community or a criminal fraternity or a hooligan element or a football team or a beard community, it's just about belonging. It's just about belonging, and it's an easy one to if you grow a beard, it's easy. You just type in beard, and then you find that. I think one of the reasons it's quite successful, but it's not all roses. It is a bit like that. It's not all great. A lot of people think it's all great and shout about it being great, but if you're really honest, it's not necessarily always that great. But I think because it's always blokes, you're always blokes, so think straight away you have a lot of things in common. You're a bloke, you have a beard. That's two massive things. So I think that's why the community is around. And then obviously because it's a massive business now, obviously there's all the brands and all the people trying to make money out of everything, which is human nature. So I think that's why it's there. As to why it's so attractive, I'm going to hand over to my good guest and co-host, Dan. Which way have you gone, Dan? There he is.
Well, I think you kind of answered that by answering question one. It's so attractive because mainly just because of tribe, right? We all seek to be in a tribe, and I think that having most of us, we actually kind of touched on this a little bit when we talked about Nothing But Beard, the Beards one in episode 3. That's live, right? No, the episode 5. Can't talk about it.
5, yeah.
Okay, so a bit of a spoiler alert. We've already recorded episode 5, but we do talk about beards, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil episode 5. But quite a lot of people who I know don't have beards, right? So we all know loads of people with beards in our beard groups, but in our close friendship circles, we might find that actually we might even be the only person with a beard, or a couple of people in the group with beards. So when you're sitting there with a group of mates who don't have beards, and you're kind of going, yeah, I've got some really nice beard butter in today. They're like, don't care, mate. Pass a light or a beer or something, So I think having the beard community online allows us to actually connect with people who do appreciate BeardMail, who do appreciate the effort that it takes to grow the beard. So I think that's what makes a beard community so attractive, is that we get to connect with other bearded folk.
Bloody good question. Thank you, Ollie Moore from Wild Hair. Well, Gareth is throwing him in now. Topic: best 90s game shows.
Super smashing lovely career. Come and have a look what you could have won.
It says, well, I use a bit of that. Obviously, don't know, in the DBFC, we have your bus fare home. In Gaz does actually say, for me, you can't beat a bit of bully. And for tonight's star prize was always a speedboat. They couldn't get rid of the speedboat. That's why. Just sits on the prize board for a long time. Best night.
So you tell you what you could have won. Wait, what you've won? What you've won is a speedboat. Oh, that's great, Jim. Aye, I live on a second floor flat, and I've just won a speedboat that I can't put anywhere. Oh, super smashing, lovely, great.
Super smashing great. A lot of them are coming back though. Them game shows, they're all coming back. And there was one guy that did a lot of them all in one, didn't they? Because Bully did come back, but I'm sure I can't remember who it was. Was it Alan Carr? Did he do like old-fashioned game shows? We do a lot of them all in one. Somebody did, and it was like on Challenge. It was on Challenge TV or something. I didn't watch loads of it, but I mean, they're all coming back. They're all going. I mean, look at like not a game show per se, but even Blind Date. So massive in the 80s, 90s, or whatever with Scylla, and then it got remade for Channel 5 with cool people on in 2016. So they're just going full loop, aren't they? Full circle. But I tell you what's different this time round. A lot of the game shows that are coming back, they are having rubbish prizes because they haven't got the budget like they used to have. The viewers and the advertising and TV advertising and stuff back then was phenomenal compared to what it is now, because there's so much more competition with YouTube and different channels and Sky and etc. So yeah, I mean, what was your
prize on? I was going to say, look at the mystery. I don't know if you watched Tipping Point, but the mystery prize on that, sometimes it's like a toaster or like gardening gloves. I mean, they're a bit more exciting than that, but they're not. They're probably worth about 300 quid. Generation game for me, obviously, I think was huge. Generation game was a big one. Quivering bloke. But even to
If
Funhouse
it
with Pat
counts.
Sharp.
Oh yeah. Fun
Yeah.
house, it's a whole lot of fun. My inspiration for the Mullet.
Mr. Patrick of the Sharps.
Does that count though? Because is that a game show or is that a kids program?
That's more of a kids. I guess you're right. It's probably more of a kids program rather than
What's the
game
rules?
shows.
Because I would say Saturday night TV, Gladiators. But is that a game show or is that like a?
Yeah, again. I guess that's more like your olden day. I've met quite a few gladiators in my time. You met three.
No, I was thinking 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was a thing, wasn't it? Scott just put 3, 2, 1 in the comments. Carry on, Dan. Sorry.
There was a weird. Yeah, there was a guy. I can't do it. There's I've met quite a few of the gladiators. So talking about gladiators, I remember I was young in Marks and Spencers, as we did then. And I couldn't find my mum. I'd obviously wandered off somewhere in Marks and Spencers, and I was wandering down an aisle. Yeah, she was off. She was like, oh, shit, leave him in Marks and Spencers. Hopefully, someone rich will pick him up. I couldn't find my mum, and I was really young. I was crying, and I saw Falcon, and I was. It was really quite funny because it was like I recognised her immediately, and I was like, "Oh, you're Falcon. Can you help me find my mum?" And she did.
Wow, what a story!
Yeah.
I didn't
Falcon
know that.
helped me find my mum in Marks and Spencers. Yeah.
And did you get an autograph selfie?
I did. Got a signed photo. Yeah, I got a signed picture.
Did you? Wow.
She had a bag. She had them in her bag. Apparently, they always did that back in there, just in case. She's like, I'm always asking for bloody Jet's autograph.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't remember Falcon at all. I have no idea what you're talking about. If you said Jet, I'd have been like, wow. But
Falcon had the wicked 80s hair. She had like a big. She was yeah, she was cool. She was cool, but obviously Jet was the one that everyone fancied, right? I've met quite a few. I think there was a few at like steam rallies I went to. I met Hunter and stuff like that, and yeah. Shadow. Was it Shadow?
Yeah, no, Shadow was the guy. I think he was into like drugs and bad stuff. I've seen him in bad stuff later. But there was Nightshade came to our school, I think, because I think she was actually from rugby. So there you go. Cool. Yeah, more game show. I don't know. Are we talking about like the prizes being different? I remember
Catchphrase. Catchphrase was sick.
I do love a bit of catchphrase, and you can still win 50 G's on that. But I remember in Blind Date, when that was first out with Cilla Black, you would get a holiday to like flipping Thailand or Spain or something, at least Tenerife, right? And then when it got revamped, and I went on it, I went table tennis in London. I'm like, what? I was expecting at least Spain for a week, even for a weekend. But I'm like, yeah, the budgets have just gone down the pan for these shows.
At least you went to London. At least you went to London. They could have sent you to Skegness or somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, the girl, I think she was living in London at the time, so it was like for her, it was just going down to a local ping pong, which would have been way much more fun.
They just knew they could get her on a £3 tube, a return for £5.80 or something like that. That's savage. That's quite funny though. So we've covered that. So a nice bit of game show stuff. That's a good question, actually. There's quite a lot of game shows. I think when we were young and we had all the channels, all four of them, it was kind of, for me in my house, it was EastEnders and game shows was pretty much that was always on television. And then we kind of got NTL cable, and then we had like UK Gold and weird and stuff. But Challenge was nothing but game shows, wasn't it? Challenge TV, weren't they just running repeats of game shows like
I don't think I ever watched. I don't think I ever got on Challenge TV. I was very much a 1 to 5 kind of guy, and it was all about home and away and not EastEnders, home and away and Neighbours. That was it.
Oh, Neighbours, yeah, that was the one. So Paolo's got a question. What is your favourite music genre and artist/band? So at Damo for Show, what's your favourite kind of music?
Oh, I'm one of them people, the ones that say I'm into an eclectic mix, a bit of everything. And I genuinely do like a bit of everything, apart from like real hardcore Slipknot sort of stuff. My Spotify playlists are outrageous. You will go from Skengdo, who you probably never heard of, but I was in a rap video over them, to Meatloaf, to Frank Sinatra, to drum and bass, like the streets. Like I go all over the place depending on my mood. And I genuinely don't have. It's all about what mood I'm in for me. Because I'll put sad songs on, have a little cry. I'll put party bangers on and have a massive party bang. Depends what I'm doing. Like badass stuff if I'm going to the gym, like some real pumped stuff. But you know, I love a bit of Dolly Parton and Tina Turner. You can't take that away from a man. So the answer to your question, Paolo, no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I could cop out with that answer myself. Not joking.
Sorry, you suggest as a cop out. Okay, I'll
cop out. No, joking. No, I'm the same. I'm the same. I listen to a lot, but I think my absolute go-to would be right now UK hip hop. Like I'm a massive UK hip hop fan. I love jazz. I also love 40s and 50s music from like Fallout. Like I could at our wedding we had the soundtrack to Fallout 3 and 4 at our wedding, which was pretty sick.
The computer game.
Yeah. Because it's all old music like Peggy Lee and stuff like that, and I love all that. But at the minute,
that sort of stuff.
It's like, I don't want to set the world on fire.
Oh, well, bloody marvelous! That's a copyright knackers. We won't get shown anywhere. Yeah. It will get. They'll go. That's too good. That's too good.
Sorry, copywritten. I've actually also been listening to Spring One by Vivaldi, a replay of Vivaldi's Seasons lately. So a really epic violin piece.
Do you know I'm from Cambridge? I'm from Cambridge, you know, and I listen to Vivaldi, and I like all sorts of stuff, you know.
The only people from Cambridge who speak like that are university students from Cambridge. Actual Cambridge people don't speak like that at all. We're all a bunch of retrobates.
Paolo feels proud. Right, okay, let's put it on.
Paolo likes Vivaldi.
No more copping out.
Spring One is an amazing piece of music.
Dan, you only get one genre and you only get one band. Pick it right now. Who's your favorite band? And I'm assuming it'll be in the same. It will be in that genre, won't it?
No. Oh god, hip hop's a hard one because I've got a lot of artists that I really like in hip hop. Hip hop is probably my favorite genre of music. I'm going to go. Cool. Favorite band is probably the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Good shout. I would probably have to say, based on purchases of albums when you used to buy albums alone, and it ties in nicely with what Gareth just said, I would probably have to say Oasis, because that was my era as a teenager when everything was good, when Man United were playing great football, when Oasis were banging out the tracks, when school days were your best days of your life. I will go for Oasis, and thus the indie genre. Boom, we actually did it. And just for the record, I don't want people thinking you're more, sophisticated than I, but I sometimes listen to classical music as well. I listen to Gary Glitter. He's got some classics. I listen to
Michael Jackson's got some classics. Oh, but then Michael Jackson. You know what? I know everything. All the hype. I do love MJ. I grew up listening to Michael Jackson from a young age, and I think for me, Michael Jackson was where I kind of started singing. So, love a little bit of MJ. Don't care what people say about him. Don't care what he did in his pastime. Man could sing.
Do you think you got into singing right then because your voice was breaking, or just you were able to talk? I'm trying to work out the maths on ages and that. Or was that just the time you started?
I used to sing from an early age, probably from about the age of about 7. I was quite. I used to sing quite a lot. Oh, just kick the table. And yeah, I used to pretty much parrot and mimic Michael Jackson, and maybe I could hit those notes. High pitch stuff, and then can dance a bit as well. Gareth Allsop says MJ was the man and can dance a bit as well.
Here's a question, Dan. Here's a good one, because I was just thinking about putting into practical uses. If we went to a karaoke bar right now, what would you be singing?
Craig David.
Oh yes. Which one?
Rendezvous, probably Rendezvous, or maybe 7 Days.
And how would it go?
I'm not going to sing on live because we'll get done for copyright. So I can't bust out a bit of Craig. Can I bust out a bit of Craig? Dan Jones all over ya.
So we don't get done for copyright. Just sing what you sang to me on a WhatsApp the other day when you said to me, what day are we doing that podcast? And I gave you 12 options over 7 days.
We could probably do it on Monday. We could maybe even record it on a Tuesday, but a Wednesday. Well, Thursday, I think any day is probably all right, actually, Damo. There's 7 days we can pick. Just pick one of them. Proper bow on soul there. I used to do karaoke quite a lot. There was a Friday night at the Junction in Cambridge. Was a night called Boogie Wonderland, and I would always be seen singing away at the karaoke. Once had a bra thrown at me. Just saying.
Nice. You still got it?
No, I chucked it back. I was like, you probably need that, love. Hater.
You definitely need that. They're slanging.
Crikey. Yeah, so I used to do quite a lot of Usher, Craig David, and Donnell Jones when I used to do a bit of karaoke.
Elton John, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. Put my name down.
Do it. Let's do it. Let's do this. I think we should do. Let's do a Beardo for show karaoke somewhere. I don't even. Does karaoke still happen? I don't know. I haven't been to karaoke for ages.
We can make it happen. This is the year 2022, Dan. All you need is a microphone and a phone. We could make it happen.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. Hey, Gareth, I quite liked your Battle of the Bands, mate. If you want to keep throwing them in from time to time, we might be able to answer them. Gavin Irwin says, how do I get a refund? Damo doesn't like Slipknot. Yeah, no, I'm more of a fan of Lamb of God, Gavin. I didn't even know I knew them, did you?
Five-finger death punch.
No, I used to run a gym in Essex, and we used to have a special session on a Sunday for the big boys, and these guys are big boys, and they used to listen to some absolutely intense, and I get the relationship between lifting heavy and listening to really angry, proper, that era of tunes, and it used to just drive me crazy. But I still like you, Gavin. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching. Yeah. So there we go.
But if you still don't like it, you just have to apply for the refund. But it can take up to 30 days to refund. Absolutely bugger all. But
yeah,
because you know,
Gav thinks he's watching on DBFC. He doesn't know he's on BeardMail for free. We're on BeardMail for free.
Rip off.
Oh yeah.
I would definitely ask for a refund.
There we go. So yeah, nice. We ticked that off. A bit of music. We did have some beard related stuff, which is a bit boring to be fair, because if you want beard information, like there's loads of that out there. It's much more exciting, interesting, and valuable content if we're just laughing and learning about your 7 days of Craig David and my love of classical music. So anyway, just quickly, because I did genuinely, before I made a hilarious joke, I do actually listen to some classical music, and it was reborn again when I watched Squid Games. And I don't know if you remember, Dan, but I got dressed up in the old Squid Games attire for the last beard competition. And so in preparation,
your trousers were.
It was quite a Korean-sized tracksuit that I purchased off eBay last minute. And
it was like triple extra large as well, wasn't it?
Mate, yeah, it was. It was supposed to be large, and it wasn't. It was very fitted. And yeah, so I did listen to a bit of Squid Games classical music, and then I was like, I do like a bit of classical music. So here we go. So Scott Chadwick, this one's going to throw me, and I'm hoping you'll be able to cover it for me. Scott Chadwick says, Marvel or DC?
I'm going to offend loads of people here, and I actually don't know what the difference between the two. DC's more Batman, right? Batman and Superman, and Marvel is more Spider-Man. And
well, let me put you in your place there, Dan. I'll take the lead on this one. I also don't know. Right? I'm not a fan of it either. But there are loads of guys in the beard community that love Marvel and DC. And even I did Spotlight Mastermind with a couple of guys. You know, Liam Sandy. He is an absolute expert, right? And I pulled off a load of questions, not knowing what was Marvel, what was DC. It was just, for me, it was all just comic stuff. This guy knew so much stuff about everything. I'm like deep, man. So you imagine, like, you asked me we asked each other questions on one of the podcasts about, you asked me some questions about Braveheart, and I asked you some questions about what was that film you got? Speedball, not Speedball, Spaceballs. And they were like surface level questions, right? But I was asking Liam questions that were deep, right? And his knowledge of Marvel and DC was deeper than deep. And you could say a question like, say, for example, I asked you a question. What was the Stand By Me, wasn't it? So I asked you questions about Stand By Me, and I asked you something like what county was it in? And you had no idea. I asked Liam a question about what space universe and what street of what thing in this Marvel thing from 5,000 years ago, and he got it like that. And I'm like, these guys know stuff. So we're probably going to offend everybody, but I don't even really know. I couldn't tell you now. If you said to me, "Is Batman Marvel or DC?" I wouldn't know. Is Spider-Man? Wouldn't know. Is X-Men? I wouldn't know.
I only know from some of the stuff that I've watched. Like for Marvel, for example, that's like Daredevil, right? And Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and stuff like that. And the Punisher and stuff like that. So there's series on Netflix that I watched, but then the DC world is the Batman and Superman and stuff like that. So I think I got that right. I think I know the difference, and I do watch them all. I just don't. I don't kind of. I'm
not sitting in the camp of Marvel or DC. No.
Well, I like all kind of. I like those, all of that. Double denim. No, you're not allowed to wear double denim unless you're from Westlife, Gareth. Gareth asked, "Is it still okay to wear DD double denim?"
I've just seen it. Well, the thing is, DD is now a thing, and I don't mean double denim. I mean Dan and Damo.
Double D's, y'all. Double D's, y'all. Yeah. So, yeah, that's that came up on a question on the Chase, not the Chase, on Tipping Point, and that was, what fashion faux pas is a member of the Beatles carrying out on the album?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hate you for life now, Dan. That question was actually on a program called Sitting on a Fortune with Gary Lineker.
Oh yeah. What was it? Oh, that's right.
It was actually,
I thought it was sounding familiar.
It was actually on an episode that I was on.
Where
I got one question wrong and cried myself to sleep for 3 months until it got aired. So thanks for bringing that up, mate.
Sorry, I did not even know. I did not know. What was the Man City one? Jack Grealish, wasn't it? That your face was like, oh, she's like, oh, I really don't know, but I'm gonna have to make a guess at Jack Grealish, and Damo's face just literally just
died inside. I've got a photo of when I got my question wrong, and the chap right at the back, George, his face lights up, and my face just dies. I'm like, you. But to be fair, I would rather have lost in the fashion I did than the fashion George did. So for those of you that don't know, went on the TV, went on a show, was lined up to win £80,000, but I didn't get anywhere near it. I got one question, got it wrong, and was out. But the guy who I allowed to stay in by effect, he answered a load of questions right, got right up to, he was in £100,000. He needed one more question to get it right, and he cocked it up and lost. And then the lady behind him came in and won 80 grand.
Oh, and I'd be sick if that happened.
She had already won 20 grand on Deal or No Deal 2 years ago.
Some people, man. Some people just
win the money, man. Just win the money.
Just apply for loads and loads of shops. Scott's asking, baseball cap peaks forward or backwards. It really depends. Sometimes this annoys me, so I spin it round. I just spin it round 360 degrees. I usually wear mine forwards unless I just get annoyed. So it just does that, and I'm like, stop. Yeah.
I never wear mine forwards ever, apart from when I just did a live earlier on Instagram, just because I wanted to show off the BeardMail badge on the front. But I never used to like snapbacks, never used to wear them until I started working in the gym, and then it was sort of a thing. And you wear them backwards because I've got a funny head going on. And now it's just, it's one of them things. I feel like I'm trying to hang on to my youth a little bit, but sometimes I feel like Paperboy. Do you remember Paperboy?
Yeah.
Computer game Paperboy.
Do you know what? I remember it. I remember it existing. Don't actually really remember playing it all that much. That's crazy, right?
I remember playing it a lot. You just used to throw your newspapers to deliver them.
You have to try not to get them through the windows, right? Stuff like that. I think I'm right.
Yeah, that rings a bell. Actually, I think you've got to get it sort of on the garden or in the mailbox. We should do some. We should make a game that is BeardMail, and it's exactly the same, but you have to throw it through the top window, or in Gareth Allsop's fashion, you've got to throw it through the top window that his wife can't see that he's been buying more BeardMail, like a secret stash for Gareth.
just through the back window. Leave it in the shed, right? Just
Yeah, in a
just run
special
around the
place
back
where
and
the
put it
wife
in the
won't
shed.
see it. Because he's the only person that doesn't love BeardMail. Everyone else loves a bit of BeardMail arriving. Gareth's experience of BeardMail is that he gets a photo sent to him on his WhatsApp from his wife while he's at work. What's this you've been ordering? More stuff for your beard.
She's already opened it. And he's like, oh well, she's pinch me Pez, pinch me double lolly or whatever.
Oh mate, I had some BeardMail the other day. I had a little lick on the lolly. Oh, it was a super sour one. Absolutely
nice.
super sour. It shocked and excited me all in one go. It's brilliant.
We've got some cool sweets. My kids love it when I put my sweet order in. Until I tell them that they're not allowed any of them. Like, oh my god, look at all that! And I'm like, it's not for you kids. It's for my bearded friends. So now you can find in the most recent orders rainbow drops.
Ooh.
And or / depending on how much you spend, obviously, sour pears, soda pears, and obviously the standard double lolly as well. It's just quite fun. I found a really wicked place online where you can order like just loads of cool sweets. So the only problem is I literally smashed through a whole pack of pears, and when I say pack, I mean an 8-pack of the pack of pears sweets just in the car, because I'm like, these are a bit easy to eat.
Yeah. So how's the weight loss going for 2022, Dan?
12 kilos.
We should probably have a little stroke of the ego. Well done, Dan. You did the 26 miler and more, a little bit more, wasn't it, for prostate cancer?
Yeah, just over, because
is it all wrapped up? What was the total?
I think it was 300 and something, nearly 400 pounds, maybe. I think I raised. Obviously, a big chunk of that was from my own personal stack, because 10% of sales in January went to the charity as well. So but thank you obviously for those that did support. Damo for show did donate. It was my first donor. I'm not a runner. I've never been a runner. I walked every single cross country.
Donor, not boner. I was his first donor.
I walked every cross country at school. I've never been a runner. I can't run. My cardio is shocking. So for me to do 26 miles in a month sounds easy, but I tell you what, it's not. Like the first 2 runs, I went out, I was like, oh, this is a piece of cake. Like, I'm absolutely going to nail this. And then I hurt my knee. Then that took a few days to sort itself out. Then I hurt the other knee, and I was like, oh, this running malarkey at 38. And when you weigh 106 kilos as well at this stage, like a big, heavy guy running, it was hard. But no, I just nailed it. I was gutted. I thought on the day before the last day of January, I remember looking at my what I needed to do, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I've got 2 miles or something to run, or 1.7 miles. And when I clocked it in on the Strava, I was like, oh no, I've still got to go and run 0.7 miles. I miscalculated that. Luckily, there was still 1 more day left in January, and I went out. But yeah, I did it, and during January, well, I stopped drinking throughout January, but the last couple of weeks in December as well, I didn't really drink, and lost 12 kilos. So I'm 94 kgs at the moment.
Well, you should probably take your top off and give us a twirl, Dan, because that sounds beautiful.
I'll just show the gun, isn't it?
I'm just thinking about the viewers, Dan. We want to keep them entertained, keep them grabbed, keep them stuck to the show. But well done, mate. Well done. How's your knees now? Thanks, all right?
Well, yeah, good. Well, I've kind of not done any exercise this month, because I just haven't done anything in the gym or been running, because I've been doing the Mr. Miyagi stuff in the house. I've been painting walls and hammering nails and chiseling and sanding, and that's been my workout for the last 2 weeks.
Making TikTok videos.
Yeah, yeah.
We've seen them, Dan.
With
Can
my
we see the
skate.
moves? Can we see the moves live on BeardMail now? If you have, if you want to see this in its full glory, get over to Dan's Instagram. And is it on TikTok somewhere?
It's on TikTok and Instagram.
It's very TikTok-esque. Look at that. Look at that. Dan, work it, Dan. Work it, Dan. I can't do that because I've not got nothing on my bottom half. But you go for it. You go for it, Dan. You go for it.
It was just one of those things, right? So my missus was over, and she's been popping over to help out when she can, and she was just about to leave. No, I was because I had that tune on that's on my Instagram one. I think it was on my stories. So I don't think you can see it because it's on her page, and she was saying, she was just like, yeah, so I'll see you later, expecting, a goodbye kiss. And all of a sudden I just started skanking in front. I was just like that. And she was like, okay, I need to record that in different parts of the house. So we did.
And yeah, we need to say for the Spotify people right now, you've just missed an absolute sexy extravaganza of Dan having a little boogie by himself in the studio.
Yeah. That's better. That's more effective than Barry White. So if you want to get the wife in the mood, just show her those moves, or just do them yourself. It's like a peacock mating call. Guarantee if you do the skeng move, she's the wife she'll just be like, look, clothes are off, kids are already at grandma's. Let's go.
So you had a good Valentine's, did you, Dan? Did you pull out the? I'm just going to call it the rune seal roll. What we need to name it. We've got to make it something different, haven't we? What's it going to be?
It's more like it's more like the epileptic fit, I think. No, that was probably
the Dan dance.
Take that
we've got a question about beer, Dan. It's all over to you, mate. This is your crafty.
What is the best beer you've ever had? That's a really hard question because I've drank a lot.
Mate. Coors Light, boom. No mucking about. Straight in from the Rockies.
I drink a lot of craft beers, and I'm that really annoying guy that when I come to a party, everyone's like, oh, can I have a beer? And I'm like, no, because I've got 7 individually picked beers that I've got to drink throughout the night, and I don't have a spare that you can have of any of these beers. I don't have the 12-pack of Fosters. I have literally an array of craft IPAs. There's got to be a couple. I mean, I like anything by Cloudwater and Pomona Island. So, like I said, I'm very much an IPA guy. I love a New England IPA. If it's pretty much straw coloured, it's probably going to be tasty. But I think, actually saying that, one of the nicest beers, I think it was A13 or something like that. As a Cloudwater.
That's a road, Dan.
When I went to a Hanson concert.
Yeah,
you heard that right. Yeah, I took my wife to a Hanson concert, and the best thing about it was that there was a little craft ale trailer outside South Bank, and I was like, oh, they've got Cloudwater on tap. I'm going to get really drunk. But the Valentine's was nice.
I swear them like the plague. Although we're doing. I had a chat the other night, Manspace Monday, and Andy Darley was having a little bit of Northern Monk. Have you ever had a Northern Monk?
I do like Northern Monk. Yeah. No, Northern Monk's nice.
We compared it to Tommy Tank, but that's another story. He had a whiskey dam and everything, doing it proper.
I think Northern Monk they do have some nice ones. I'm going to answer your question by going to my Untapped really quickly. And I can tell you my most top rated beer.
Michael Harwood's here. Hello, Mike.
I'm going to go and, all right, sort by rating. They've only got 4 beers that have got rated a 5. And some of those were probably earlies. And we will find that my favorite beer, it was an AW18 all season IPA by Cloudwater, a 6.5 cheeky New England hazy. But I would say it has to be, that's probably it. There was a Citra double dry hopped IPA with lactose and pineapple, but I think I was pissed when I rated that because it's only got an average of 3.74 and I gave it a 5.
That's beautiful. That's a 5. It's my 10th one. I think where we're different,
I think. Eh?
is if I had a 12-pack of Coors Lights, I also wouldn't have
You'd
a
be
spare one.
happy.
Yeah, no, but just as
You
you wouldn't have
also
a
wouldn't
spare
have a
one.
spare one.
No, because that would be for me. Gareth has moved us swiftly on to home owning, and this is interesting actually because I'm going to geek out a little bit here and confess live on BeardMail. Is I sometimes get massively addicted or enthused by some apps or games on my phone, and they're time consuming, but they allow me to get my brain out of the busyness that is my life. And for a little while, I was stuck on Football Manager 22, so you're managing a football team, and in my mind, it's really interesting. You're pressing buttons, doing stuff, making moves, things are happening, and you're getting rewards from winning games and that. When my girlfriend sees me playing it, she's like, you just look like you're pressing spreadsheets and that. It just looks like work. There's not even a game. There's no actual players, or you're not controlling players. It's boring. So I managed to stop myself playing that one, and then I stumbled upon an Instagram meme that was hilarious, and I'm like, what is this? And on the meme, it says, you found a satchel in the park full of crack cocaine and died of an overdose. And I was like, what is this? And I read the comments.
Is that
and it's a
Dope
game.
Wars?
No, it's called BitLife. And basically, it's like a Tamagotchi, but you basically look after yourself. You're born at 0 years old, and then you just live your life. And there's so many different things you can do. You pick your career, you pick your, you do your schooling and all that. You pick who you're going to be friends with, and you spend time with, and you press buttons by either training in the gym or learning an instrument or speaking to friends, and it's adult as well. So there's things you can do. You can take drugs and you can have sex and you can catch herpes. There's all sorts of crazy stuff on this game, right? It's called BitLife. And I literally just deleted it 2 days ago because it was consuming me. But the thing was, and I'm getting there, Gareth, I'm getting there with your question. In the game, you can set up a Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube account, and you press the button, and the more you can choose what you post, and it tells you how many likes you get. And I did it, and I went viral, and I'm like, wow. And then you can monetize your account, and then every time you post, you're getting like $3,000, and then the more followers you get, you're getting more and more and more. And on the latest one, I learned how to be a drummer. I joined a band. I built myself up in this band, and I became mega proper famous. And I had like 30 million YouTube subscribers, and every time I posted a YouTube, it gave me the money. I actually ended up with like $150 million, and I then started buying all of these houses. So my point is, it's a fake world, but there's a lot of psychology behind it. There's still the reward of pressing buttons and getting something, even though it's nothing because it's a computer game. But it had me hooked. And you can buy all sorts of houses. You can buy equestrian houses, so you can buy horses as pets. You can also buy a flipping Bengal tiger if you want. There's haunted houses, townhouses, Victorian houses, and this brings me seamlessly into Gareth's question, which is, which would you pick? A brand new house, just been built, all modern in the city, old Victorian house, or in the countryside? So the answer, Gareth, is I'm a rock star. I've got $150 million in the bank, and I've got 15 houses. I've got 3 of each. What's your answer, Dan?
I don't know. I think it depends. It depends on the type of build. If I had a large pool of cash, then a nice, crisp, new build, lots of glass, really cool house would be nice. I like old stuff as well. I do like older cottages. I just find that a lot of old, nice cottages, they tend to be quite low in terms of ceiling space. I like quite high ceilings. So yeah, that's a toughie. I think it depends on how well it was built. If it was an old building that was built well, cool. Otherwise, build me something new from the scratch with everything that I want, because I find that a lot of older houses, they didn't really think about space and stuff, storage and space, and whereas new builds, you can build all of the cool shit in.
If you think about the olden eras, the heating aspect, you wouldn't want too much because everything was all, you had to think about heating and sewerage and toilets and stuff. So it's a different world. But I flip between the two. So I rent a cottage at the moment, And you're absolutely right. I'm always hunched over. I always hit my head on the door. And it's lovely when you sat down in the lounge and you've got beams and you've got a fireplace and that. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. It's on gas. But if it worked, it'd be lovely. But there is that you're trading something against something else. And because it's old, it's freezing sometimes and you're on oil, not gas mains. And so, it has its pros and cons, but it looks nice. And I sometimes do wish for the complete opposite. And I think Batman, in Return, no, hang on, Dark Knight, when he's in that like really well lit rectangular room that's really bright, and he's got his outfits and that, and he's got his motorbike and that. Sometimes I wish I just lived in that, and in the corner I'd have like a gym, and then I'd have all on one level. I'd have the bedroom, a little separate sort of bedroom, and just all something really modern like that. So it really depends on budget. And I think, to be fair, if I lived in somewhere really modern and really awesome, after a little while, I'd want to flip it up and go and live in something quaint and cottagey. My last job that I was actually doing, like a proper job, I had to conduct a housing survey. So I went around loads of houses in the Cotswold area, looking at the types of different houses. And so this experience seeing the different types of houses. And also I drive for Amazon, and everybody orders from Amazon, right? Whether you're a millionaire in grounds, like I've driven up someone's drive that's like a 2-mile drive to get to the front door. Like they've got so much land, it's so affluent. But then conversely, I've been in and delivered it skyrise flats and stuff. So there's so many different types of accommodation. I really think the magic is making it your own. So wherever you are, you make it your character, your personality, what fits for you, and you can make anywhere a home. It doesn't, I'm sure there's a lot of lonely people that live in massive rich estates, and it's not homely and they don't love it, and they'd love to swap it to be in a neighborhood, of skyrise flats and that. It's different for different people.
I kind of like the idea of modern in the countryside, but at the same time as well, I wouldn't want to live in the middle of nowhere where my next door neighbour is a million miles away, because I'd get scared. Like I drive through places and I see houses and I'm like, nah. Like if I can't see my neighbour, if I need to run to my neighbour's house, like for sure, like no.
I delivered to a purpose-built barn the other day, and it's exactly like that. There was no other neighbours or anything, but the guy's barn was phenomenal. He had a separate outbuilding, all massive glass windows, and inside table tennis tables and football and all that. So obviously the man cave as such. And then his main building was just massive, and it was open, and you could see he purposely built it himself, and it was amazing. But like you said, I think the different stages of your life as well, as you certainly get a bit older, you probably want a bit of neighbours around for security, and you want, a bit of, people around you. So I think it's absolutely different. Really, really good question, Gaz.
But I just want to circle back as well. Miss Paolo's one about your favourite Italian beer. I don't know if it's my favourite Italian beer, but there's a beer I had when I was in Rome many years ago called Dragoon. I don't know if it's Italian or not, but it was bloody strong. The first one wasn't very nice. The second one was all right, but the third one was bloody lovely. Because
the 18th one, went down a dream.
Well, you wouldn't get to 8 because they serve it in because this was a long time ago. I don't know how legal it is now, but they serve them in these massive glasses. It's like practically a bottle of wine. So once you got to the third one, it was almost like a red in color, and I'm sure it was like 15% or something like that, something ridiculous. You knew about it the next day. I mean, we were 17, 18. We must have been 18, maybe 17, 18.
Hang on, Dan.
You knew about it.
What's actually happened, Dan, is you've ended up in the park with a couple of bottles of White Lightning, and you've pretended to call it Italian lager. Is this what's happened? Really happened?
No. Hopefully, Paolo's still watching. He'll back me up if he knows of Dragoon. It's a red some beer. It was some.
Nah, you're thinking of Orange Boom.
Orange Boom.
Like windmill.
But it's I've definitely had a few park sessions on the old White Lightning. That's for sure.
Frosty Jacks
as well. I think Frosty Jacks. Yeah, Frosty Jacks was probably the one actually.
Mad Dog 2020. Mike Harwood says that all of his neighbours are dodgy. I hope they're not watching. Hello, Carlos Hane. How you doing, broski? Paolo says he's never heard of that. The only Italian beer I know is Peroni, mate. That's it. Done. That's it.
Peroni. Isn't Beer Moretti Italian?
Nah, that's probably Stoke-on-Trent, mate. Burton on Trent. I don't know. They're all brewed in the UK now. I don't know. Belgium.
I do like Peroni. I think I've just gone. I don't know. Lager's a funny one for me. I think I tend to, it's one of those ones that I don't really drink lager very often. I find it a bit too gassy. Moretti, yeah, beer Moretti, yeah. And I've not had Menabrea or Peretti. Is that where you get half a pint of Moretti and half a pint of Peroni and just mix the two together?
Yeah. And if it all goes wrong,
really offended the Italians now. Beer Messina, the one with salt inside.
Oh,
I know. I know. I'm feeling a bit thirsty. I'm going to have a beer that makes me feel more thirsty, and I'm going to put salt in it.
Italian beers, eh? Look at us getting all very cultural and worldwide and discussing the beers. It's clever, isn't it? Clever. To think about, we're on the BeardMail podcast with two males talking about beers. You couldn't have written it. Could you? Seamless.
I do love a beer. I've only had 4 beers this year. I've been really good. However, I've got 52 pints of a 3.2% Cloudwater that I'm going to take to a mate's house at the end of the month, and we're going to try and finish it. 3 of us are going to try and drink 52 pints over the weekend.
If you can get yourself a pass out for April the 2nd, I'm having a bit of a birthday shindig. It's technically my 41st birthday, but on the premise I didn't really have a 40th because of COVID. Yeah. It'd be nice if you can make it to the secret event, Dan. If anyone wants to know what it is, I can't tell you it's secret.
I want to try and get down, but it's far from me. That's the problem, isn't it?
Everywhere's far from you.
No, like Bedford's pretty close. Peterborough's pretty close. In fact, Banbury's not even that far. Huh?
I hear Vivaldi's playing at the end of the day. Actually, it's a bit of a gig at the races. Vivaldi cover band.
I'll be there, mate. I'll be there. Your birthday
it's a
can
crap
be secondary.
Special. Craig David is doing a. Craig David is
doing a Vivaldi. He's doing 7 days over spring one. That'd be the mega. That'd be my best thing ever. Right, Damo, for sure. We've been on for an hour. If we don't close this up soon, my wife's going to be wondering where the hell I am. I need to go home.
She'll know. She knows
you're already at home.
You're with Damo. You're doing fun stuff with Damo. Well, Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure and beautifully done. I think that is our 4th podcast in the BeardMail podcast series. The 5th one, as you've already alluded to, has been pre-recorded already. That will be launched next
week.
I'm assuming, yeah, because this one will drop on Spotify tomorrow, right? Ish.
Wednesday. Yeah, this will go out tomorrow. I'll have to get that ready.
So the podcast that is going to be for next week will be all about beards. We've already recorded that, and then we will be recording another one, top secret, this week for the week after, and then also very secretly, not going to tell anybody, but we're also doing an exclusive interview with Paolo, who's been watching. Thanks, Paolo. Appreciate your support. We're doing an exclusive interview with Paolo next week. We're going to record that behind the scenes, and then Paolo's going to type it up and splash it all across the internet when we're done. So keep your eye out for the bearded handballer, Paolo Lucci. We need to learn how to say your second name, actually, Paolo. That's on
Luciali.
our
Luciali.
Whatever happens, I just want to put
Luciali.
Show. Gareth says it's a cracking podcast. Thanks, Gareth. I really appreciate your support, pal. Daniel Jones has just started watching. Thanks, Dan. I'll just give you a little wave there on the podcast on the Facebook. So that's it, mate. We're wrapped up. I do have our ridiculously long outro. Shall I just wrap it up and say goodbye and play that, or should you do the bit about subscribing and that? Do that. You do that.
Oh yeah. Obviously, just the obligatory subscribe. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment. Tell us how much you love it, and it spurs us to do more. I'm really enjoying the series of podcasts, so I hope you guys are too. If you are, put your fingers where the money is, or whatever kind of weird saying we could come up with that, and just hit that like and subscribe
button, notification, ding, bell, subscribe, and all that stuff. But to be fair, you don't have to do all that. You can just watch us when you want to watch us in your own time. That's it. Thanks very much. Tell your mates. That would be good, actually. Tell your mates. If you've enjoyed a bit of BeardMail chatter, tell your mates, invite them into the group, because we're just going to build this group, keep putting the great content out there, and keep sharing the BeardMail love. And that's what it's all about, really, talking about all the stuff that happens in the beard community as far as products goes. Send it, receive it, BeardMail is the best kind of mail.
And before you do go out, it's Luke Aoli.
Luke Aoli. Paolo Luke Aoli. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. We've all learned something new today. I'm off to listen to some Vivaldi. I'll leave you to go and have yourself a normal.